I love what they're doing, but when I tried it, it didn't work out like that. Am I not meant to do it? What actually helped me overcome comparison was welcome back to week 3 of 90 days of me returning to YouTube. I'm still here and I am smiling. For those of you who are new to my channel, welcome. For those of you who are returning, welcome. If this is your first video that you're watching out of my series of returning to YouTube, essentially I have decided after a 4 years hiatus that I will face my fear and come back to YouTube. And I have committed 90 days of weekly uploads, sharing raw, honest, emotional truth, vulnerabilities of the fears, the thought processes, the learnings of how I got here. You don't want to miss any of that. So I encourage you to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and we can keep growing together. In my first 2 videos, I mentioned comparison quite a lot, and it just made sense for me to kind of expand on that a little bit more, because I truly believe that this is something that many of us might have experienced at some point. I previously mentioned that I am a life coach, an alignment coach specifically, but I'm many other things. I do consultation within project management, operational management, client partnerships. I do a lot of building and a lot of orchestrating. I do a lot of getting things where they need to be. In the time that I have been growing within my career journey, in the time that I have been growing in confidence, in faith, in understanding of self and what it is that I want and how I would like my future to align with whatever God's plan is for me, something really spoke loudly to me when it came to my experiences with comparison. We know the famous saying by Theodore Roosevelt, comparison is the thief of all joy. But from a biblical standpoint, Galatians 6:4 says, and I quote, but let each one examine his own work, and then he will have rejoicing in himself alone, and not in another. For each one shall be his own load. Why I bring this up is because very often we're living in a time where we're seeing things happening at insane rates. We're seeing people become millionaires literally in the space of a year. We're seeing people create these amazing products and do all these wonderful things. And as great as it is for some, there are others who are still in a space of figuring it out because they know that's not their calling. They know that's not necessarily what resonates with them. Even if it has a nice price tag, it just doesn't click the same. Being in a space where we're seeing such wonderfulness, if you are not where you believe you should be, or where you believe God is taking you, if you don't understand your journey in respect to that, you're going to feel like, am I doing the right thing? And granted, we're never going to know if we're on the right path. It's trusting and knowing that because we trust and know in God, that we are on the right path. But in our day-to-day human minds, on this earthly experience, we convince ourselves that we don't always know if we're on the right path. As an alignment coach, what I teach isn't about trusting that we're on the right path in the sense of I know I'm where I'm meant to be, as opposed to feeling confident in where you're at so you can progress and go forward. A big part of what I experienced with comparison is it paused me from being able to go forward because I wasted time looking at what everyone else was doing and not paying attention to where I was at, where I was going, and what I was doing, how I was growing, how I was evolving. I was not paying attention to my own evolution. Essentially, what that meant for me was when I showed up in spaces where I had grown into, I wasn't giving myself or giving God the credit that was required for me to get the lessons and do the things to learn at that next level to move along to where I needed to be from my respective journey. Now, just because I might have seen someone have success in a certain way, that wasn't guaranteed for me to have success in that way. And what I would have loved to have understood a lot earlier was taking my comparison points, being the admiration and wondering, God, what do I need to do to get here? Is that where you want me to be? Having the understanding of that earlier on to shape what I was actually praying for. A lot of what I was praying for came from a space of lack, came from a space of misunderstanding, came from a space of comparison, not from a space of trust, not from a space of believing where I was going and that the path I was on was unique to me, but looking at what everyone else was doing and saying, hang on a minute, I done that years ago. That didn't get me there. And then questioning, was I even meant to be doing that thing in the first place? So with comparison, being in a space where we have TikTok, we have Instagram, we have LinkedIn, we have YouTube, we have all these different amazing platforms where beautiful people from all around the world could come and showcase themselves. The other side to that is sometimes we might sit down, and not everyone might do this, but we might sit down because our side of our journey isn't where we want it to be yet, and say, how comes that hasn't worked for me like that yet? How comes that person's done it like this? I love what they're doing, but when I tried it, it didn't work out like that. Am I not meant to do it? What helped me overcome comparison in an unhealthy manner, I will say, because comparison isn't always terrible from my perspective, and I'll dig into that shortly. What actually helped me overcome comparison was being able to spend time with myself and reflect on how far I've come, whether that was a 1 month reflection, 2 month reflection, 6 month reflection, 1 year reflection, taking time out to say, what was I doing this time last year? How was I looking this time last year? Just taking a minute to look back and see how far forward you've come. Granted, I don't spend too much time looking back because sometimes there ain't nothing to look back to. But sometimes we need to look back to be able to actually acknowledge how far we've truly come, how far God has really brought us, especially this year. So many people have been tested. So many people have been broken to be reshaped, to be refixed, and put back together in a way that they can handle what is to come. What really helped me was taking the time out to actually pause, to reflect, to speak with God and say, what do you want from me? This is something that took me years. I know we have so many people right now sharing amazing faith content, and a lot of people might shape it like it was easy. It was not easy for me. It was not easy because it took a lot of my ego getting crushed and getting silenced so I could hear what I needed to hear clear enough. Why I say I don't think comparison is always bad is because sometimes I have been able to recognize really good qualities of myself in people that I admire, and it's allowed me to ask them very specific questions to help me on my own journey. What's changed in that is me basically taking my discernment and asking God before I ask the people. Before I was just going asking any old person, not realizing you're asking someone to lead your career and to lead you and mentor you in a space that is literally your livelihood. Not everyone is anointed for that. That's what changed for me, learning to use my discernment in a way that allowed me not only to reflect, but to use that healthy comparison to say, what do I admire and what is it exactly that I want to ask that I can pray on, and then use that. Then say, okay, God said I can speak to this person, let me speak to this person. And granted, sometimes the answer might not look like what you was expecting, but it will do what it needs to do. Those of you who get it will get it. Those of you who are confused, please DM me. I will explain further. To share any encouragement to anyone who might be watching right now and questioning where their life is at versus where their peers' life is at, what I would love to share with you that really has helped me over the last couple of years specifically is spend some time identifying what your qualities are, your good qualities, your flaws. Really lay them all out. And in laying them all out, just do a light tick list. Do a light tick list of all the different things, all the different good attributes that you possess as who you are as a person. And whenever you're feeling like something's not right, take the time to go back to that list. And if you don't want to go back to the list, because I know we have so many lists and so many things and apps, write it out again. Write it like you're writing it fresh, because you might get new things that pop up that didn't pop up the last time. But I encourage you to spend more time with yourself, in that way, and then take that to God, because then the things that you feel like are missing from you, ask God to give that to you in wisdom. Ask God to give that to you in knowledge, if that is what you need to have to get you where you need to be. Not everyone's journey is for us. Our load is our own. So I really hope, if you've been battling with comparison the way I once did, and sometimes still do in an unhealthy way, I really hope that this has helped you, even if it's just a fraction. And just remember, you are amazing the way you are. You have your gift to offer. My light and your light is different, but together they're going to do something amazing. Trust who you're bringing. Trust that what you're offering is full of value. This week, I feel comfortable in a way that I haven't in a very long time. It's only week 3. My schedule was all over the place. I literally squeezed in filming, but the discipline and the deed is done. So I'm very proud of myself, and I'm grateful for anyone who's made it this far in the video. If you haven't, subscribe. I will continue to do my best to share this journey as it's placed on my heart to, and let's keep growing together. Until next week.